All right, so today is the day where we turn this whole mini refit around. And by that, I mean it's the day that we stop destroying the boat and start putting it back together again. I'm gonna start putting the rigging together. I'm gonna start building our new furlers, and I'm going to install our new chain plates.
Steve has invited us out for a cold weather sailing race. God, my heart is beating so quickly right now.
It's like the perfect Saturday.
I'm Desiree, and this is my husband, Jordan. We're sailing around the world, or at least trying to. We made it as far as Panama on our first boat, Atticus 1, which was a really small fixer-upper. Now we're on our dream sailboat, Atticus 2, but she needs some work before she's ready to cross oceans. So we're working hard to finish up the last of our boat projects so we can sail south to the Caribbean.
So the first step in installing our new chain plates is I've got to clean up and prep the areas where the chain plates are going to mount. But just like any project in the boatyard, step one is digging through all the nooks and crannies of the boat to grab all of my tools. Okay, so don't tell Desiree that I'm showing you this. The quarter berth is a total disaster right now, and I feel kind of bad, but I don't really have time to clean this up much. We gotta just keep powering through and get these projects done. Okay, so Mike's back and we're doing round 2 of kind of dry fitting and measuring and getting everything ready for the davits. And so basically we're gonna put in the lower brackets, dry fit them against the hull, and then measure for the top bracket. You said the only like functional issue is that it's like center line, right? That it's up and down.
This here is just purely
just aesthetic. Yeah, yep. I think it's perfect. Just to line up here, visually, they look like they're pretty much smack dab on. I think that's it. I think we're pretty much symmetrical. Next step is we're just taking these little pieces that Mike made up, putting them in position and tacking them to the davits. And then Mike will be able to take the whole assembly and go back to the shop, fully weld it together, polish it, finish it, and then we'll be able to put these bad boys on. Funny because I don't know what I was expecting, but that was like really anticlimactic. I was like, we're gonna do it. Dang it, okay. Hey, look at that good looking guy. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good. How are you doing?
Good. It's been a hell of a day, but I'm ready to kick back and talk about sales. I actually just chatted with John Crutchmer about what he likes to do with cutter rigs and how he likes to sail. He really likes to use the stay sail as much as possible, and so he's over the years started having his Genoa size be smaller and then his stay sail size be bigger. And I like that idea because our Genoa is a little bit big.
I'll do a little screen share over here. I thought we'd kind of start with the head sail. So As you can see, because we're obviously going to have to sheet the Genoa around the shrouds, then you have a kind of a larger sheeting angle of about 24 degrees, at which point that's when you start to really miss this upper spreader. I think honestly a 110 is probably where you're going to be wanting to look. I mean, it's going to be roughly the same size as your existing, because your existing just has a lower clew. Perfect for cruising boats. If we want to make the staysail more pronounced in the sail plan, we might be better off just to sort of do the opposite of what we're doing with the Genoa, which is to make it a little bit more powerful, give it a bit more broad seams, give it a little less luff hollow, maybe position the draft slightly different. This is actually quite a large staysail. Generally speaking, they run like 70. You know, this is pushing a 95. We can do a lot with putting power into a sail that's not just increasing the sail area.
Cool, man. Well, that was great. Thanks a lot. That was fun.
No problem. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great to see you guys again.
Next time, we've got to make sure we match again.
Yeah, for sure. We'll coordinate this.
All right, buddy.
Cool,
I'll catch you later.
All right.
All right, so this weekend we've got my mom and our really good family friend Pilar. Steve, our good friend from the marina, has invited us out for a cold weather sailing race. So my mom really wants us to win. She's she's like, I'm watching you. So we're heading dinner. She's not gonna feed us dinner unless we come home as victors. And so how many crew are we gonna have?
We are gonna be the three of us and my old man.
So are you feeling confident about your crew?
Well, I have to now because we've been told that we're not allowed to eat if we don't win. So there's some pressure that I wasn't expecting.
Let's get out there and kind of, I guess, dominate.
This is my father, Leo.
Desiree's mom was telling us if we don't win, we don't get to eat tonight. Is that true?
My wife will laugh a lot if we don't win.
Okay. Basically, the race of the century is what we're trying to describe here. Very competitive. Not everyone's gonna come home alive today. This is gonna get intense. It's a bit brisk out here, Steve.
Little chilly, guys, little chilly.
Is this time for the speech?
What's the speech?
With the captain's speech. The inspirational captain's speech.
The first person that falls overboard gets keelhauled.
Leo's a stern captain, but fair.
Make me look good, buddy.
Okay, we've got two real contenders with us. That's the Beneteau 343 there, and then the Morgan 27. He's a very good sailor.
All right, so all the boats are basically at the starting line. At this point, just kind of waiting for the start time. We're gonna know exactly the time that the race begins, and we need to cross the start line as close to that time as possible. Okay, we're getting close to a minute out. This is getting exciting.
Okay, let's do a tack.
So right now, we're on a starboard tack, which means that we've got the right of way. Everyone else is on a port tack basically, and we're all approaching the starting line here. So technically they've got to get out of our way, but this is gonna get close.
Starboard!
How are you looking there, Leo?
We're looking good. We are currently in first place. Look at that Beneteau move.
There's two poles out there called the goalposts. We gotta be below the red one and pass it to our port side. So where we're at, we're gonna take the angle and then we're just gonna come slightly off back to port and we should put the wind really on our ass.
Look behind us, bud. They're gaining on us.
It's like a whole fleet of sailboats after us. We gotta lose them. Nice one, dude.
Awesome.
Woo. Way to make it look easy, guys.
What place are we in, Captain?
We're still in first.
We're eating tonight, boys.
Woo, and I'm hungry. Racing, it's like every little minute counts.
Yeah, so much of it is just having these like physical procedures on a hairpin trigger.
Should I like let the sail out a little bit more? Or?
Are we losing people?
Yeah, we are.
We are, all right.
Yeah. Which means don't touch anything.
Do not touch anything.
Yeah, we've been racing together since I was 13.
You and your dad?
Yeah, so we've been doing this for almost 30 years now.
Well, we are hiking way over, so I'm just holding on for dear life.
This is a fun boat to really like get over, man. Yeah, so that is the marker right there. And it's like we might make it, we might have to tack, and we're just pinching to be able to make it up around the marker without having to tack again. Holy moly, that is close.
We're stuck on the right line. There you go.
Oh, that's cool. I got the clip.
Nope. In. Nice.
Okay.
God, my heart is beating so quickly right now.
Oh, but our competitors got their pole out now, and they are closer than they were. Well, it's getting close, because this is the Morgan that we gotta beat, and we were just talking about we gotta beat him by about 50 seconds to maybe a minute.
Jordan, get ready to flash them.
Steve, show him your nipples. So our friends on the Morgan just tacked. Not sure what they're thinking. Okay, so we are getting very, very close to the finish line here. Looks like we're just gonna have to do one more tack and then we'll be across it. Boy, it's gonna be really close with the boat behind us. We really lucked out that they tried to tack and we didn't, because that gave us some room. But if we gotta beat them by a minute, it's gonna be close.
Help me with it.
Okay, here we come. This is the line here. That it?
Nicely done.
You think we're 60 seconds ahead of the Morgan? They definitely are a lot further away than they were.
All right, so that's 1 minute and 5 seconds.
This is gonna be so close.
Cheers, gentlemen.
guys.
I'm hungry. I love that moment when we kill the engine and everything's calm again.
That was great, man. It was like the perfect Saturday.
Tack means to turn?
Yeah, kinda, basically.
I don't know. The guy at one time, he said, they are going to need to attack now. And I thought, attack?
Okay, so number 4 is Rick Grayson. Number 3 is Al Dobler. In second place is me, 1 hour, 7 minutes. And the winner is Les Toplas by 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 37 seconds.
So they won by 32 seconds.
32 seconds.
Oh, we're gonna starve tonight.
Hooray! Woo! Okay, so the guys from Pacific Seacraft are here once again, and today we're going to be tackling the final stage of installing the Davits. These Davits are going to represent just such a huge improvement to our cruising lifestyle. Okay. Are we installed here, Mike?
Fully installed.
Nice. All right, man. Well, this looks great. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right, so we're all set to install the new chain plates, but before I jump into that, I just wanted to kind of explain why the heck we're putting so much work and time and effort into replacing the chain plates that were on the boat. So here's one of our old chain plates, and you can see it really doesn't look terrible, right? There's not a whole lot of corrosion to it, and there's just some little rust stains here and there. The backside, a little bit more so, but still not bad. There's a really good question as to, do we really need to replace these chain plates? First of all, these chain plates were designed to have carriage bolts put into them. Basically, a carriage bolt has like a little square bit just below the cap, and that's what keeps the bolt from turning when you tighten on the nut on the other side. When they made these chain plates, they made these square holes by pressing into the metal. What that did is it kind of stresses the metal, and that stress can lead to corrosion and premature failure down the road. Another potential issue with the old chain plates, they often used 304 stainless steel for these chain plates. Nowadays, the standard is to use 316, and all that means is 316 is a lot more corrosion resistant. So here you can see this is one of our new chain plates. These are cut with a water jet, and so that doesn't stress the metal at all compared to the method of pressing those holes. These new chain plates are made out of 316 stainless steel, and then there's the mere fact that these chain plates are brand new, whereas the old chain plates could have suffered some work hardening and some stress over time. Pacific Seacraft actually showed me a chain plate that they pulled off of a boat. They saw a little bit of, corrosion on the surface and were wondering if the metal was compromised in any way. So they put the chain plate in a press to bend it. Now, if the chain plate was in good condition, the metal would have just bent no problem. But this is what happened instead. Because of existing weaknesses, this thing just totally broke apart. This chain plate was not as strong as it was designed to be initially when they installed this thing. We want to make sure that the chain plates, which are extremely important, are at 100% of their strength. If you compare this old broken chain plate to our backstay chain plate that we just removed, I mean, they look almost identical. And in a lot of ways, this isn't just about chain plates. What we're talking about is what it takes to prepare a sailboat to sail offshore with an acceptable amount of risk and safety. And sailing offshore is a dangerous activity, period. And it's a constant tug of war between being underprepared and not doing enough, and then doing too much and doing jobs that don't really need to be done. Obviously, it's different for everybody, but we like to be pretty far on the conservative side. Wow, okay, that's enough talking. Let's get to work. Let's do the forward outboard. Boy, that one was easier. All right, so I'm all finished installing the lower shroud chain plate, and now I'm gonna get started with the outboard chain plates. I'm starting with the backstay chain plate. I went to dry fit it, and I realized that this U-bolt is a little bit too long. So I'm just gonna real quick cut this a little bit shorter. The thing I'm kind of pumped about is I get to use my vise that I installed and my new angle grinders.